We're going to flip the script a little bit here. Joe Theismann's doing most of the interviews here for the last 29 hours. Now we're going to interview Joe, class of 71. Joe, do you think the university's changed a little bit since 71?
Well, the buildings all look about the same except for the 50 that they've added. It's just absolutely incredible what the university has been able to do. The thing that I love about the University of Notre Dame, besides the people and even the professors and everybody here, is it has grown in a very unique way. It has gotten bigger, but it's never lost that feel. When I came here, there were two quadrangles, north and south. Yeah. Today, as you walk around the University of Notre Dame, you get the same feeling that there's a closeness. The buildings are all situated in such a way that when you move from one to the other, it doesn't seem like a giant university. Yeah. And, you know, everybody's so wonderful. You can walk everywhere. Now everybody's got the bikes and everything else. And, you know, to me, it really feels like coming home. Yeah, I think those of us that have been fortunate enough to have gone here, been a student here and gone through the experience, it's special. And the other thing, too, is we don't have an athletic dorm. And I think that is very, very unique in so much that all of the athletes are student athletes. Yeah. And they're all a part of the dormitories. They're all part of the halls. They're all part of the university. And they aren't put someplace where they're away from everybody. They interact with them, and, you know, they sit in the classrooms with them. And they do all the things that all the students do. And here in the Duncan Student Union Center is just phenomenal. I mean, I walked through here before the start of this past season when it was a big empty shell. My goodness, is this gorgeous.
I stood here some 30 years ago, and this was a parking lot when I was in school. This is where you parked if you lived off campus. This is how you got to class.
This is the way it was. And, you know, we used to walk different places, and now you look at what it isn't a stadium anymore. It's a building. It's a classroom.
It's like a city in itself.
It is. It's a place to socially engage so much.
You know, I don't know about you, but after spending a couple days here and talking to all these students, all these great people, I always walk away from Notre Dame Day saying, how on earth did I get into this school?
I had a projected 1.6.
I mean, don't you have
well, you know, I was I think I barely got in, and it was this is true, I spent my first 2 years as a freshman and a sophomore here. I went out on one date my freshman year, one date my sophomore year. Obviously, it was all guys at that time, so it was a little bit more difficult to run into the opposite sex. But I dedicated myself to want to graduate from the University of Notre Dame. So I went to study hall, I did my classes, and I played sports. And that's what I did for the first 2 years. And then the latter two were much more enjoyable experiences for me. I sort of reached out a little bit more and expanded my social interactions a bit. But I loved it here so much. I didn't want anything to happen that I would possibly go away.
Sure.
I loved it here.
Well, you went on to become a Super Bowl champion after, of course, leading the charge here for the Fighting Irish. For those that don't know the story, I know you've told it a few times. You were once Joe Theismann.
That is correct.
And the name changed. How?
That's right. Well, actually, Roger Baldessari, the head of our public relations, who was the public relations director at that time, called me in his office one day. We'd had a really good junior year, and I did as well. And he said, how do you pronounce your last name? I said, it's Theismann. He said, no, it's not. It's Theismann. I said, no, Roger, it's Theismann. He said, no, Joe, it's Theismann. I said, give me the phone. I picked up the phone, called my dad back home in Jersey. I said, Dad, got a question for you. My father, anytime I ever had a question for him, he'd go, fire away, Joe. So I said, Dad, I got a question. He goes, fire away, Joey. I said, Dad, how do you pronounce our last name? Well, there's this pause on the phone, and all of a sudden he comes on. He says, son, are you all right? And you're a senior at the University of Notre Dame. What have you been doing for the last 3 years? You don't know how to pronounce your last name. I said, I'm okay. I'll explain it later. And I hung up, and he said it was Theismann. I went to Roger. I said, Raj, my last name's Theismann. I know. Just got the phone with my dad. He said, Joe, there's a trophy out there called the Theismann Trophy. He goes, the best college football player in the country. We think you have a chance to win that trophy. But we're not just going to count on the reputation of the University of Notre Dame, nor your athletic skills. But we think by just simply changing the pronunciation of your last name from Theismann to Theismann to rhyme with Heisman, we can get you that trophy. And I still have actually a button at home. There were stickers and buttons and everything else, and it didn't work. But it actually created a brand, because as I travel throughout the world and have opportunities to speak to people, one of the questions that I get, one of the primary questions is, did you really change the pronunciation of your last name? And I did. Actually, I did, and Roger did, and I give him all the credit in the world. An incredible man. What an unbelievable vision.
Well, we lost Coach Barsegian recently. What are some of your fondest memories?
I was scared to death of him. I was scared. I mean, to me, it was like a papal visit. Anytime he called me in the office, it was like, oh my gosh. And all he wanted to do was know how you were doing. Wanted to know how your parents were, wanted to know how your classes were, wanted to make sure you kept your grades up so that you could continue to, be on the ball club. But I was always scared to death. And he used to, what Era did was he stood at a tower. We'd have offense on one side of the tower, defense on the other side. And if I messed up, I'd just sort of glance up to see if he was looking. And he wasn't. So I'd get in the huddle, I'd call another play, I'd come to the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden it'd be like, Joe, you can't make that kind of mistake. And I'm thinking, how do you know? How do you know? I always wondered how he knew. A wonderful, intuitive man. He understood his players, but he also led his coaches. I think one of Era's greatest strengths was the people that he put around him. And to me, I think that's leadership. It's the people that you surround yourself with and entrust the teaching part of what you want to do. To teach your culture, teach your philosophy, I think is one of the most important things that you can possibly do. And Era did it to a T.
I'm glad you mentioned people, because we don't make this possible, right? We don't do 29
It isn't just
hours.
us that everybody sees.
No.
Everybody says, oh, well, we're quote unquote the talent on the air. No. There's so many people that have made this happen. Notre Dame Day is a vision of Jim Small. It's been going for 5 years. And the dedication, the commitment of everybody that's involved, all the students that come and do it, from our social media to everybody that's upstairs putting our makeup on and making sure that the scripts are right, and everybody behind the camera.
Come on over here,
We
gang.
appreciate
Let's bring everybody
We
over.
want to show you part of the. Come on, somebody.
Come on.
You got to start walking sooner or later. Come on.
Yeah.
You can't hide behind it. Come on, get back here behind us. These are all the people that have put all the time in, all the writing.
This is how you do 29
Tell us how to
hours.
go. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
We don't do it alone, trust me. This is everybody. This is the Notre Dame family that made Notre Dame Day possible. Keep coming. Keep coming. Lou, get up here. Come here. You can't hide. Lou, you can't hide. You can think you can hide, but you can't hide. Come on, step it up here. But these are the young men and young women that have really been the heart and soul of everything we do here at Notre Dame Day, to give you an opportunity to be able to donate, to be able to be involved with over the 900 different entities that you've chosen to be able to contribute to. And believe me, it's so much appreciated. I mean, this is what the University of Notre Dame was all about. It's about family, it's about friends, it's about giving back. And I couldn't be any more proud to be standing here next to you, my friend, to be able to do this for a second consecutive year.
Likewise.
Lou, to you and everybody else, and to Jim and everybody, and Justine, who's sitting up there all by herself on the set. And we left Justine sort of all by herself on the set. Thank you to everybody who did the interviews and all those that have participated. I was listening before. 99 countries have been involved tonight. We went out to 99 different countries. Do you speak Lithuanian? That's the okay. Well, we're okay.
Well, I interviewed a guy who plays polo on the back of an elephant.
I just met him
in Thailand. Yeah.
I met him. I mean, having a chance, Manti Te'o having a chance to, and of course, interviewing the ladies from the Notre Dame National Championship basketball team. To me, and I've said before, Patrick Reed was unbelievable, because both of us love the game of golf. But to be able to talk to Patrick Reed and the Notre Dame man that he is, and he loves this university so much, that was exciting. But being able to talk to the ladies about the national championship, I jumped out of my chair, ran around in the room. My wife looked at me like I was nuts. And I said, they just won. It was unbelievable. But the whole weekend and everything they accomplished, and so many different interviews, and I mean, the list goes on and on and on of people that are Notre Dame people. And that's the other thing that's so great about what we do. It's all Notre Dame. It's all us. It's all the family. It's all those people that have gone and traveled through the university for so many years, and now they're all over the world. And that to me, I found, was one of the most unique experiences that I've ever had at Notre Dame. Is no matter where you go in the world, there's always somebody from Notre Dame that opens their house to you and says, we're not going to let you stay anyplace else but us. And that's what makes us, I think, so special.
A true domer, my friend.
Absolutely.
A true domer.
Wouldn't be anything else.
Joe,
thank you to everybody. Thank you to you all. Thank you.